You know, 10 years ago, if you were to tell me that I'm running a podcast that talks about whales and dolphins and keeps track of orca sightings in the Salish Sea, I would have said that I would expect December to be a pretty slow month and I would struggle to fill it. This December was not the case because it felt like we had less big sightings. But that might also be because I'm more concentrating on certain individuals and certain families. So it might be why it seems like it's down for me. So let's get into Orcawatch. So our Orca of the month this month is actually T65A5 Indy, and so anyone that's big within like the Orca community might have heard of this guy. Um, So Indy was born in 2014 and has four siblings. He is a big Zorka and originally was called Elsie. One of the few times where an Orca has actually been renamed. So he was renamed to Indy when he dispersed from his pod at the extremely young age for a male Orca, the extremely young age of 5 years old. So dispersal means when a male or female orca will split away from their maternal pod. This doesn't happen that often for males. It's somewhat rare, but definitely not unheard of. There are definitely lone males. There's also a pair of males, T60D and T60E, for instance. It's much more common with females after they have their first calf. Indy has been able to hunt harbor porpoises on his own, and he's just to put it in perspective. He is 11 years old now. He is not even a fully grown male, but he dispersed from his pod, and he's even able to hunt harbor porpoises, which is kind of crazy. His mother is A65 Artemis, and she is actually kind of infamous for being able to moonwalk. That is when she's able to surface and swim basically backwards. So Indy is actually frequently seen traveling on his own or with many, many different other pods. He is very well networked. He's a bit of a social butterfly, basically. He does prefer the company of younger males, and he gets up to quite weird stuff. Well, he seems to be he's he's a little bit off the rails. So he's been seen harassing humpbacks, and sometimes is seen playing with crab pots. Now, Orca Behavior Institute has a very cool article on these weird behaviors that he does, which I will link in the description. And so he has actually been entangled at times as well due to playing with crab pots, but always manages to self rescue himself. That's to say, he manages to get free before responders come and help free him. And he has been known to sometimes show up with scratches and marks that are not consistent with injuries that would be obtained through his social antics. So, and everyone's kind of puzzled on where those marks come from. So he's our Orca of the month for January, A65A5 Indy. Also, definitely an Orca I want to see at some point. Hopefully this year to come. He was last seen on the 13th of December, according to my sources. So, uh, as in regards to our adopted Orca, L90 Balena, I don't have a confirmed sighting of her for this month. because I don't have the full IDs of one particular sighting. So we're gonna talk about her with the L pod here. So the Southern residents have been pretty active this month in December, uh, particularly K-Pod. So first of all, we'll talk about L-Pod. L-Pod were heard on the hydrophones on the 16th of December. So they were heard with K and J-Pod all together. So they're heard on the 16th of December. And then on the 19th of December, they were actually spied way up north in British Columbia. So they've been kind of quite far out. So they were spotted, but I didn't get any ID, so I don't know if Belena was with them. Because L-Pod tend to split up a little bit sometimes as well. As for J-Pod, the last time J and K-Pod were witnessed was actually on the 29th of December. They were heard over the hydrophone, going on for hours. So J-Pod were spotted kind of early in the month. They were a bit patchy this month in terms of spotting, but they were seen rather regularly. I think anyone that follows the Southern Residents is glad to at least like get a month where they're pretty present, because this 2025, I'm recording this on the 1st of January 2026, so 2025 was a kind of rough year for Southern resident sightings. It only really picked up around, like, I'll say September, towards the end of the year. But it was very patchy before that. Actually, so where they hang out, it seems like this is the case because they were actually spotted in early July and then again in August by the Center for Wild Research when they go out to do their survey. And if they're not in, say, the sea, then they need to actually go and find the orcas. And they found them on both times, several weeks apart, all three pods on multiple days, over on the west side of Vancouver Island. So quite not too far out, but maybe they're finding stuff to eat there, and if they're finding somewhere to eat, if they're adapting, yes, they are seen less, but rather be seen less than be seen declining, you know. So J-Pod was spotted throughout December, and K-Pod was seen kind of all through the month. So they were also last heard 29th. They were last seen the 22nd, I believe. I've got in my notes. And actually, we're gonna skip to the births and deaths section here, which I don't actually have a death to report this month, fortunately. But there is a death. There is a birth, a Southern resident birth. So on the 10th of December, there was a tiny little orca calf spotted with K-Pod by the Orca Conservancy. They spotted the calf first. Now, I don't know if there's an official thing on the gender of this calf. I know there were some like underside shots, but it was very low quality and very ambiguous. As low quality as in it had to be enhanced quite a bit to actually see. And also the mother is suspected to be K36 Yoda, but that's not confirmed. And so this new calf is called K47. There's a bit of a weird naming discrepancy because like K46 doesn't actually exist anymore. Well, K46. So basically, um, K46 originally was like quite an older orca, um, and so this is when they like misnamed uh particular orcas, and they thought that like K46 was part of K pod, but actually was a part of another pod. So then they changed it, but then they like, okay, well, we can't name something else K46. That it's a little bit weird. It doesn't make sense, you know. Um, I Okay, so um, let's go on to the big orcas. So the big orcas they were kind of present. There was a lot of pods that I don't know about. But there are quite a few sightings of bigs. Um, but this month, the families that I track. So the families that I track on this are the T65Bs, T36Bs, T99s, T99B, T137s, T60D, T60E, and yeah. So I didn't see many of those. The T36Bs were spotted on the 6th of December. T60D and T60E were both spotted on the 24th of December. Um, and the month was kind of a little bit slow for bigs. The main sightings were really T46s and T46Bs at the start, and then there were actually a fair few families throughout the rest of the month. So, that is it for we. Ow, wow. Okay, we managed 12 minutes on a month that I thought would be a slow month. So, thank you for watching Orcawatch.